group of people in Ballara sort of looked around at what had been happening, the loss of businesses in the town over a period of years, and were worried about where we're heading, where we'd finish up, and decided if we didn't try and do something, we're going to have a real problem, that we really had to take some action.
There was no real vision for the town itself. There was a lot of things happening within the town. We had like 20 small community groups doing wonderful things, but it wasn't actually sort of joined up to the actual vision of where we need the town to go.
There was a group of us got together, I think it was about 11 or 12 people got together, and we started this, what is now known as the Ballara Community Development Group. So Colin was the instigator in that, and we had quite a few meetings, and we needed to, we got to the stage where we needed to come to the community with our ideas, and we were looking for an event that we could actually sort of tell people what we're up to. People were probably thinking, I wonder what this group's doing, and they're probably getting a bit suspicious. So we wanted to have an event that was nice, friendly environment. Colin would sort of tell people what we're up to, and it was decided that we'd have a music in the park.
And we did things like having a sausage sizzle on election day, because in a country town everyone goes through the election area, and we were just there giving sausages away and talking to people and letting them know what we're doing. And we also thought, well, we'll just put on a free day where people can come down to the park and listen to some music.
It was at the music in the park here, the event I'm talking about, that myself and Terry Couples, who's another committee member, we were talking about what a great town Ballara is. It's lovely parks, and it would be perfect for a musical event. It was actually Terry that suggested that we have folk music, because there wasn't a lot of folk music around Gippsland at that time. And I remember him saying to me that this is basically how Port Fairy started, off the back of a truck in a little town. So that sort of stirred me up. I went home that night, remember thinking, gee, we probably should be looking at a bigger event.
We thought we could actually do something bigger and better here. But before we thought we'd go out and do it, we'd go and check a few other festivals. And the Malakuta Festival, the Easter Festival they have there, we spoke to them. And they sort of told us the right things and the wrong things to do as well. We looked at other festivals and we thought we'd bring that back to the community and see, well, what do you think? We'd give this a bit of a go? But the major reason we wanted to put this festival together was to say we want to engage not just the Ballara community, but outside of the community of Ballara.
I believe that when communities actually engage in entertainment, in anything that brings people together, creates a very vibrant community. They work together as one. They build a circle they build a circle of friends. They build a circle of working together.
You need to do a hell of a lot of planning. The Folk Festival is a 12-month of the year operation, and there's a group of probably 6 or 8 people are working for 9 months doing all the planning and organising for it, and then in those last 3 months as things start to hot up, you get more and more people involved, and as I said, 80 to 100 people on the day involved.
We have the main music event here in Centenary Park behind us. We have a stage set up, and all our clubs, sporting clubs and clubs in the town, they're in this other park behind us here, the Railway Park, and we have about 70 stalls that are in there. So you can sort of imagine on the day of the Folk Festival that the whole day sort of begins at 10 o'clock in the morning and runs through till about 6 o'clock in the evening. It's just a magic place to be. It's very colourful. There's lots of people walking backwards and forwards. It's very relaxed, and both parks are just full of people. After the Folk Festival's finished, we then move into the hall, and we have a nighttime event in the hall, and that's generally goes until about midnight. So it's the Folk Festival sort of carries on over there. So there's a lot of things happening, and it's just a wonderful atmosphere. Lots of good food, good variation of food. We have wine and cheeses and all sorts of things happening, so it's quite good. The little town really comes alive.
In the first instance, people didn't realise the scope of what we were aiming to do and just what sort of scale it was, and so didn't really have that ownership then. And it wasn't until that first festival happened and we actually showed people that we could put on a successful event and just how big it was, that then people really have grasped at it, and so the first year we probably had 25 to 30 people helping. Last year we would have had probably 80 to 100 people involved in that process.
And one of the things I've learnt since I've been convener of the Folk Festival is the importance of partnerships. You just can't do it without them. We, right from the word go, Latrobe City and International Power Hazelwood got on board and supported us financially, and since then we've added about another 13 or 14 sponsors, so we've got about 15, 16 sponsors now, and we need to keep on increasing that number, because that's going to be the only way the festival is going to be sustainable.
They told us what they needed, what their hurdles were going to be, and then I looked at where we could actually help. So it's just not handing over funds, not handing over money, it's really handing over knowledge, it's handing over support, it's also giving them the belief that they really can do the job.
Look, I don't think we would have got very far in this whole process without the City of Latrobe. They've been fabulous, both in providing funding all the way through, helping us over difficulties like insurance in the first place, and also with the whole planning process, helping to close roads and get the park cleaned up prior to the event.
We have someone who manages the music coordination, and that's done in partnership with a lot of the musical acts across Gippsland, and that's the emphasis of the Folk Festival, is that 80% of the festival has to be Gippsland. And so yeah, partnerships are formed not just from the funding point of view, but from the music point of view as well.
Local government is made up of members of the community, really. So council is part of the community. We live and breathe in regional Victoria, and we want to be part. We want to see our community grow. We want to be part. We want our kids to do things. We want our grandparents to go along to a great event. I think that's what local government is about in event side. I think that local government portrays what the community is all about. If you have a strong community, you usually have a strong local government.
A big effort, and I'd have to say I think we're realistically getting almost to the limit of how much effort we can get from the community. It's only a relatively small community, but no, I think the community receives great benefits, both economic but also in terms of the self-esteem of the town as a whole. It receives great benefits and gives everyone a real buzz.
They say that people go into community groups as volunteers, of course, in good faith. They have an idea, they have a vision as well, and they want to do something. They have the energy, and they should go into these groups and with that sort of thinking and actually be able to implement something, do it. But they shouldn't be there for the rest of their lives. Yeah, we've already started to bring some new people in already, which is quite exciting, and we want to develop them up so they actually get involved in the sort of roles that we have in the planning group, and then we can hand it over. They're only volunteers. We're only volunteers. We only have so much time that we can do things. So we've got to be very careful of that we don't wear our people out. So what we try to do, especially the Folk Festival and even with the Blarra Community Development Group, is we actually turn our people over. After 2 years, go away. But we want you to come back some other time as well. And gives you a bit of a rest, just recharge the batteries.
I think that we're very lucky to have the amount of people in our community with the skills that were needed to put on a good event and such a large event. And I think a lot of those people are in all communities. You've just got to seek them out that have got special talents and skills. And we've managed to do that here, and been very fortunate. But no, it's been a real success story.